Hey, this is Kevin Higgins. Today I'll be reviewing and demonstrating my brand new Martin Bionics prosthesis. We're going to cover some of the topics in their marketing material and see if they hold water, and talk about previous prosthetics that I've had and how this one contrasts to that one, both the good and the bad. So I want to first start out by showing you my new Martin Bionics prosthesis. Here it is. As you can see, it looks pretty much like a regular prosthesis minus the hammock area in the back. One of the things that I noticed is that it looks significantly different from the ones on the website. And a couple of the items that they said that it's going to be lighter weight, and they said it's going to be cooler because of the non-encapsulated design. I'm not sure if you've looked at the marketing information on the website, but none of the prostheses that I saw on the website actually look like this. This one looks a lot like my previous prosthetic design, with the exception of the hammock straps in the back. So one of the initial things that I noticed is that this one doesn't want to stay inside the prosthesis. It wants to kind of migrate to the outside of the prosthesis. And so not quite as effective as it should be. Another thing that I noticed is that the screws, if you look really close, aren't quite seated. And in fact, this one's way out. And this is not only on the inside, not only on the outside screws, it's actually on the inside screw there at the bottom. Let me see. Oh, right here. And so one of the downsides is that screw that's not seated is already it's already causing problems with the prosthetic liner. And if you guys have been an amputee like I have for over 20 years, you know that liners are quite expensive. And so the other thing that I noticed, so this is my current one. This is my one from just right before this one. And this one actually, the Martin Bionics says that it's going to be lighter. It actually weighs about twice as much as this one. I think part of that has to do with the fact that on this one, the prosthetist decided to put the locking mechanism on the side, and so he eliminated all of the weight from all of this area right here. And that's quite important for me because, as you can see, I have a very small residual limb, and so it takes an incredible amount of force for me to push the prosthesis forward. Another thing that happened that I really was concerned about is, this is my old liner. You can see how long the pin is here. This is my new liner. You can see how short this pin is here. And so it doesn't give me the same amount of leverage when I'm pushing the prosthesis forward. It kind of acts, to make the prosthesis feel a little bit longer. I thought this was probably, prosthetics 101. But anyways, I did notify them that I needed a longer pin before they made the prosthesis, and they still did not do that. The prosthetist has agreed to modify the original prosthesis by drilling out this hole, but I think really I just think the prosthesis is too heavy to be useful to me. In fact, this one weighs about the same amount as my first prosthesis from 20 years ago with the Pathfinder. It may be slightly lighter, but it's definitely, the Martin prosthesis is closer to the weight of the one from 20 years ago than it is to the one from just the one I just had. And then this one is the one from about 5 years ago, before I got the past rigid socket. And it actually looks, the prosthesis looks pretty much, hold on a second. I'm not a professional. The prosthesis looks pretty much the same as that one, as you can see. However, again, you can see how much smaller the socket is. That alleviates a lot of weight, but certainly not what I was expecting in prosthetics designs, because in the marketing videos there's some openings, and it looks like that the rigid socket is just a skeleton for the hammock system, whereas that's not really the case in my prosthesis. They've just kind of used this hammock system to tighten up the back of my leg. And I can't tell you, after 2 months of visiting them multiple times from out of town, how disappointed that I am with the end result. And so I'm hopeful that they're going to be able to alleviate this and maybe just take a little bit more time to design the prosthesis. There's definitely some errors in the fit and finish of the prosthesis. You can see there that it's just kind of rough there. It's kind of rough around the top. There's some lines here. I don't know what those are for, but certainly it's not quite, oh, right here. Oh, another thing that I wanted to point out is the lock mechanism is this little cheesy plastic button, whereas on, the previous ones, I have this metal one. And because I'm quite active and I bike, and this is on the inside of my leg, that's quite important. And it also was in all of the marketing photos. This button is not a piece of plastic. So I'm using the Rush Rampage foot on this one. This was new, and I tested a couple legs, and so it also adds a ton of weight. These prostheses use the True Step College, I think it's College Park True Step. But as you can see, it doesn't have all of these extra pieces of metal here. There's a small piece of metal here and a small piece of metal here. And this one has multiple pieces of metal here. This big giant piece right here with these big pieces of metal, big piece of metal in the front. And so again, like just a huge, massive tank of a prosthesis, and probably not appropriate for somebody with as mature a limb as I do. I mean, when I've had the first one 20 years ago, I was a fresh amputee. I was in my 20s. I had a lot of muscle mass in my leg from exercising. And now I just don't have that. A lot of atrophy, has happened over the past couple decades. And so I just wanted to talk with you guys a little bit. I do like the strap design, and I think the idea of being able to tighten up the area without having the rigid encapsulation behind you is really great. But again, I don't think it does quite enough for me to offset the added weight of the prosthesis. And also another claim is that you're going to have better range of motion. This thing right here, I'm not sure if they just put it up too far, or it sticks up too far. But I don't get any more range of motion. In fact, I feel a little bit more limited in my range of motion when I have it on. So I just wanted to share that with you guys and let you know that it's not a magic thing. There definitely has to be some, you have to have some expectations of the prosthetics company when you go in there. And I went in 4 times so far, and this is what I have currently. I'm still waiting for them to bring me a foot. This foot shell was borrowed. They accidentally ordered a right foot for a left prosthesis leg. Not sure how they did that, because they came into the fitting room with the shoe on, so that means they put the shoe on a left foot. Again, not sure how that happened or why they didn't notice. But I think overall, I'm very disappointed. For $12,000, I feel like I should have got maybe a little bit better of a prosthesis. It looks like maybe they may have rushed through this. Not sure what happened here, but just very disappointing after waiting for 2 months. And again, I know that this is not an exact science. And it's an art, and it's something that can take some tries to get it right. But this is just my initial impression of my Martin Bionics leg. And so, anyways, I hope you guys are able to be mobile and enjoy freedom of movement. And hopefully we'll get all this rectified soon. And thanks for listening.